When people look at me, they see a confident businesswoman. They see a woman who is courageous enough to travel the world for 10 months by herself. They see a woman who is not afraid to be vulnerable and show up in front of a YouTube channel and to share her story and be vulnerable. They see a woman who teaches classes. They see a woman who is happy and joyful and an overcomer. But it wasn't always this way. I remember going home after work. I was 130 pounds overweight, and I would just sit there on the couch. I would play Mario. And I'll tell you what, I had earned and beat Mario and beat Bowser so many times. I had so many different achievements in Mario. I owned like 10 different, I owned all of the Mario's games that you could own on the Wii at the time. But it was my escape. It was my escape because I didn't know where else to go. I was married to a man who was abusive. I was married to a man who gambled. My children, I lost custody of my children. My ex-husband was taking advantage of me and exploiting the situation that I had gotten into. And I didn't know how to speak up. I didn't know what my needs were. I didn't know why I had found myself in this situation repeatedly. I didn't understand the psychology behind it. I remember wanting companionship, wanting to be loved and to belong, wanting my family to understand, but they didn't. Because all they saw was they were just on the outside looking in. I was shy, I was timid, I was quiet. I didn't speak up for myself. Because when I was silenced and abused. I turned to Tony Robbins. I turned to self-development. I remember that moment. I remember when I watched that video, and it was called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It was on Netflix. And something inside of me just clicked. And I knew in that moment that I was going to make decisions that were healthier, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and with relationships that I was in, that I would choose better, to be better. And that muscle of courage inside of me grew. And that's when I found my courage. And it was small. My muscle of courage was small. But I found the courage inside. I found the courage to speak up for myself. And I found the courage. And I loved it. And I loved what it felt like. And I remember thinking inside, how is anybody going to love me or want me? How is anybody in the world going to be able to forgive or see that I am not this person, this shell of a human being that's just consumed with weight and consumed with video games? That's not me. I'm not a pushover where anybody could just abuse me and take advantage of me. And that muscle of courage, I learned that muscle of courage was inside of me, and I loved it. And that is why I'm an advocate for other people to flex their muscle of courage, to find that courage within themselves, to confront your fears, and they will be your fears no longer, that you are not the circumstances that surround you. You are not a result of the other situation, of the people and what they've done to you, that you can find a voice, that you can figure out what your needs are, your basic human needs, your needs of how you want to be loved and how you can be loved, and your voice to be able to speak up and to not take it anymore, and to walk away, and to not harm yourself and other people. And you can do it. This is my why. This is why I now sell online courses on forgiveness, to help people find freedom from themselves, for forgiving themselves for putting in situations like this, for forgiving others who have harmed them. Because really, it takes courage to find freedom. This is my why. This is why I am doing health and wellness destination retreats, so that I can help people transform in a shorter amount of time, in a few days, than what it took me years to learn and years to do, with the tools and techniques that I've learned over investing hundreds and thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours. This is my why, because I don't want others to be trapped in that valley like I was for so long. God bless.